What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Live Show. We are looking at the Friday 12-game main slate. Sir Grande was on the MLB DFS Playbook for today. It's been quite a doozy. It's also been interesting because, well, you know, the NFL, the NBA, NFL, MLB, geez, a lot of sports happening at the same time. The MLB trade deadline is nearing, and we have a lot of teams making moves even up into the last few minutes here. So I guess we're now on like hug watch when it comes to these DFS slates as well. And I don't know how that impacts any of your roster decisions here tonight, James.
Is it a lot of teams or is it just the Rays?
Well, the Orioles just made a trade to get the Rays, right? And then the Blue Jays just traded Yimi Garcia to the Mariners. You know,
don't get me started with this. Don't get me started with this in division BS either. This is what a travesty this has become.
Right?
What are rivalries for? Are there even teams that don't like each other anymore? Do these even exist?
Like the Yankees helping out the Orioles here, giving them.
What are we doing?
I wonder how many Orioles fans had heart attacks when they saw their tweet go out and the first name listed was Jackson. Yeah. But then it was somebody else. It wasn't Jackson Holiday going for Zach Eflin there. But trades are happening around the league here. So you know, the trade deadline is Tuesday. Guys that you may have to start being worried about. Certainly Tampa Bay, a team that is selling Yandy Diaz and Isaac Paredes are two guys that are also been rumored to maybe be moved. So something to at least pay attention to.
Very much so.
We have the 12 games here. We appreciate you all tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat here. Our guy Pod Degen already in there. Bong Rip Season from Garden City as usual. Loving the O stack, he says here today. And then Cam the Man says he's waiting for Jonathan India to go to the Yankees. So, again, teams on the moves, teams maybe making some plays here. We'll see how it all turns out.
Congrats on your trade today, John. You received the Red Sox got James Paxton. That was a really big deal for them.
Yeah. Traded a 17-year-old in the Dominican Rookie League. I obviously am not a huge Paxton guy, but there were some, you can make anything look good. I apparently like James Paxton's like breaking balls, like guys aren't hitting them, but they're slugging like 600 on his fastball. So everybody's like, oh, get him with Andrew Bailey. Like he'll fix that. And, we'll see. And you know what? Andrew Bailey's done a great job with a lot of pitchers in the Red Sox staff this season. We'll see if he can work the magic with Paxton there as well. Maybe just tell him to stop throwing the fastball. Who knows? In this economy, Norby 2200 on FanDuel says Stoner there. If you guys have comments, throw them in the chat. If you guys want to help us out, like, subscribe, share, free way to support the work we do here over at Fantasy Alarm. Any weather concerns for today's slate here, James?
It's cold in San Francisco, which I wasn't sure I'd be saying in July, but there temperatures in the 50s. So already tough to hit in San Francisco. A ballpark that gets a lot of wind, considering it's on the bay, is now 50s, high 50s. So good pitching weather in San Francisco tonight.
Sure, for sure. Let's get into pitching then. Top price starters: Freddie Peralta, George Kirby, 98, 96, Grayson, 94, Sonny Gray, 93, Gallen, 91, and Kodai Senga making his season debut at 9K. Anything change for you from this morning's preview show when it comes to the top price guys?
I don't know if anything's necessarily changed. Maybe I have Kirby 1 over Peralta. I think we both had Peralta 1. But it's really hard to overlook what the White Sox are and what they have been offensively. They're 30th in basically every category in the month of July. They don't win any games. They don't give their pitchers support. And George Kirby, for those early season woes that were on the road, no longer haunting him in his sleep. I mean, he's been super good in all of his past 5 road starts, and overall his last 10 starts, 2.05 ERA, 27% strikeout rate. That's what we're looking for out of George Kirby. So I'm interested in Kirby as my top starter, Peralta number 2. I am good with getting to Peralta. I would say he is far more inconsistent than George Kirby is on a slate to slate basis. He has shown a higher ceiling than George Kirby, but for $200 less against the infinitely better matchup. Like Miami's actually been more serviceable in the last month or so offensively as guys gear up to get traded, trying to increase their own trade stock. So I lean Kirby over Peralta. So I guess that's the only change that I would provide from the morning show. Not a lot of interest in Grayson. He struggles a lot with righty bats. San Diego has some good righty bats. Sonny Gray, I think, is very serviceable here. But I'm going to say the same thing I always say about Sonny Gray. You never know what the pitch count's going to be. Even when he goes 7 innings and has 10 strikeouts, 87 pitches was good enough for the Cardinals. And then on Gallen, and they've been pretty firm on the Senga front. It's 5 innings or 85 pitches, whatever happens first. There's not going to be like we're at 5 innings and 60 pitches. We're just cutting there. Like it's 5 innings. They're making sure that they're. I mean, he's in big time investment last year.
Yeah,
He is not going to re-injure himself making his debut.
Yeah, I'm in on that. Hard in on that as a way of like can't really pitch him there.
Yeah.
Consider taking the under on some of his fantasy point projections over today. Underdog and Prize Picks had him around the low 30s, and when you know a guy is not going to pitch more than 5 innings and his first start of the season, you kind of want to lean the under. Because that takes out the quality start points, right? Those are big. You're not going to get the 6 innings, so you know that right away. The one thing, obviously, he is a high strikeout pitcher in Atlanta. Terrible. So, like, he could come out there 5 innings, 8 Ks, and next thing you know, he's well over the 30 fantasy points. So, not really touching that. Mid-tier, we liked Brady Singer a lot last evening. Has anything changed for you? Where are you looking?
No, Singer's still my favorite mid-tier option here. Obviously, the concern is the lefties. Lefties are hitting 300 against Brady Singer, or just a tick below 300. But since June 16th, Brady Singer 2.48 ERA, and that includes the start he got shelled against the Red Sox in. He's getting a ton of ground balls, and he's not getting any hard contact against him. He's been really good in Kansas City this year. 2.43 ERA at home compared to a high 3 ERA. His elevated strikeout rate at home, nearly 25%. And I found this interesting too. In a park that has a massive outfield and like a lot of extra base hits hit there, 54% ground ball rate compared to 43 on the road. So there's a lot to like about Brady Singer in this matchup against the Cubs. Only other name I'd mention, and it's actually someone that you and I were kind of targeting people against, is Yusei Kikuchi. And I know you say it might not be the best play, but I say I think we should hold on and look at some of the data for Texas.
Sure.
They're batting Robbie Grossman third. And I say that I don't say that like that's not that's a little disrespectful to Robbie Grossman, but I'm just saying they're batting Robbie Grossman third.
A guy that we generally see hit 8th, hitting 3rd. What is it, the Red Sox?
They have struck out 28.8% of the time in the month of July against lefties. It's a very, very high strikeout rate. They have been fine overall. They're a little bit better than league average in terms of OPS. They're 21st in isolated power, which is really where Kikuchi struggles sometimes. I mean, he's always been a guy that gives up a lot of home runs. So if Kikuchi's missing bats and not allowing home runs, he has a ceiling well into the 20s. And we saw a couple starts ago, he had a 30 fantasy point game. So I still lean Singer in the savings, but I wouldn't mind getting Kikuchi at low ownership.
All right. Thoughts on Nestor Cortez?
He is a pitcher that doesn't pitch well at home or away from home. So if this was any other pitcher, I would use them. Almost any other one. Because it is really bad for Boston outside of Tyler O'Neill. Even when you look at the Connor Wongs and Rob Refsnyder's of the world over the last month, they don't even have good numbers against left-handed pitching. So I know what I should like Nestor, but like he's pitched extremely poor over the last 2 starts. He has not pitched well away from Yankee Stadium. Anytime you start talking about like batting average allowed over 300, like that's a massive concern because like it's a lot of traffic. I get that the strikeout rate is elevated, but he's not even a strikeout per inning, like close to a strikeout per inning guy. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like if you do it multi-enter play. If I'm playing 20 lineups at 10%, 15%, but it's not for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, the strikeout appeal is what most are at least attracted to there in that matchup, but he has been downright dreadful, obviously, on the road. If we're going under $8,000, any core targets for you here?
Oh, did you do that on purpose? You should. No, I guess it wouldn't have worked. They're in San Francisco, but you could have. If it was in Coors, I would have played better. Yeah, I mean, I think both guys pitching in San Francisco tonight are incredibly interesting. And we'll circle back to someone who is a little interesting from, I think, an ownership standpoint and is going to get shelled sooner rather than later. But I really like Kyle Harrison. I really like Kyle Hendricks, the two Kyles here. Harrison obviously has a matchup against the Rockies. He has been super consistent lately, and at least in 3 of the last 4 outings, he's been really good. This is a really good ballpark to pitch in. Obviously, I would say the one concern with Kyle Harrison lately, 2 of his last 3 starts, he's had 4 walks, right? So that's not the best. There's a lot of walks that obviously caps your ability to go deep into games. He's only completed 7 innings once this year against Colorado. So, like, I like Harrison at the price. Just has to limit the walks. And I talked about it on the pre-show, and I have not like fallen off my love for Kyle Freeland today. He is $5,500, and since June 23rd, which is when he returned from the IL, he has a 1.95 ERA and has held his opponents to 2.33 average. And I mentioned it on the pre-show, like it's a small sample, but in July, the Giants have a 33.9% left-hand strike rate against lefties.
Yeah.
And Poe Degen was talking about like still playing Fitzgerald in VR. Like, yeah, they're punts, and they like Fitzgerald is way too cheap. VR got called up. He is a power bat from the right side. I get what you're saying. This is not a good ballpark to hit in. It is not good weather, and Kyle Freeland's just been downright good. And on the season, his numbers suggest that he's been kind of unlucky, especially with those first 2 starts on his resume. So Freeland at 55 stands out to me. And one guy I want to talk about, and I think the blow-up's going to happen, and it might happen tonight. I know Seattle's offense sucks, but Drew Thorpe has been getting away with freaking murder. When you look at some of these metrics, I mean, he doesn't strike anyone out.
Yeah, which never helps the metrics, right? Like, not a lot of balls in play. Generally, you gotta get penalized for that,
164 BABIP.
Yeah,
Drew Thorpe. 164. That is not sustainable for like the best pitcher in baseball. Like whoever you insert best pitcher in baseball is not going to have a 164 BABIP. Plus his 3.03 ERA, 5.18 xFIP. And I looked at earlier today, the Mariners are 27th in isolated power at home. They're 10th on the road. And obviously, Julio Rodriguez is included in that, and JP Crawford's included in that, and Victor Robles not leading off is included in that. And that's what we have going for us tonight. Yeah. But Drew Thorpe is not going to hold up for much longer. Maybe this is the start, but we saw in his one outing against a good team, he got shelled. And I think this is another one. I'm out on a popular Drew Thorpe. I'd rather just play the other 2 punts in Harrison and Freeland.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten away, obviously, not allowing any hard contact. Just a 4% barrel rate certainly is helping him out there. Only a 32% hard contact rate. The expected ERA is 3.59, so it's not like it's anything egregious, but your skill saver metrics, 5.37 Sierra, 5.18 xFIP, like you said. Actually, I even lied. It's a 21% hard contact rate. So, Yeah, that's basically what's driving it, is that he's giving up a lot of weak contact, and therefore the batting average of balls in play is pretty low. But so is the strikeout. Just an under 6K per nine is not great for that one either. Any interest in Bayo at $7,100?
No.
Okay, just the strikeouts are there. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that the Yankees are throwing so many lefties at him. He has really been bad against
Oh,
them.
he's he's very bad against lefties.
So, I mean, outside of Judge, 5 of their top 6, well, I guess 5 of their top 7.
A
5
team
of the
that
top
reads
7
the
overall.
Fangraphs page. You know, they understand the metrics there.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the Joe Girardi binder era, but like at least we know. Brian Cashman out here saying, "Oh, we're not too analytically driven." Like, yeah, clearly you are. You're batting all these lefties at the top of your lineup.
All right. Let's go two catcher then. Where are we looking to start things?
Oh, this position stinks. I mean, I'm punting pitcher, so like I have no problem spending up at catcher.
Sure.
Rutschman, I mean, Major is terrible against lefties. That is an elite spot if you want to get there. Will Smith crushes lefties. William Contreras. William Contreras is like the only Brewer with good numbers against lefties this year. Everyone else has been terrible, which almost put me on to Rogers. I'm not a psycho, but almost. William Contreras at 5K. I like Salvi at home against Hendricks, who's been obviously awful. I think Cal Raleigh hitting second is a little bit interesting against Thorpe. The metrics against Thorpe really suggest that the blow-up's going to happen against left-handed bats. Mm-hmm. So I do think you can get to some Cal Raleigh if you want to play 4,700. I don't have like a ton of interest in Seattle overall, but Raleigh is a one-off. We know how many double donks he's hit over the last few years. Like I feel like Cal Raleigh has to be in like the top 5 of like double donks, right? Like he has so many games with 2 home runs. Connor Wong 4K is obviously one of Boston's better hitters against left-handed pitching, still hitting 312 against left-handers on the year.
I like Danny Jansen at 39 too, below him hitting cleanup today.
Yeah, he's just been bad. He's kind of been good against righties. Not that I don't like Toronto today, because I do. I think there's value in like their top 6. Shout out Ernie Clement moving up the lineup today. But I don't know what Jansen just goes through these like crazy spells every year where you're like, oh, he's figuring it out. Former top prospect. Oh, right. He can't hit again. It's like the Waterboy meme, right? Oh, we suck again. That's him. Austin Wells hitting 4th, 3,800. Talk about the data against the right-handed or left-handed bats.
Yep.
But it's a barren wasteland. If there's Pajo, I would punt Pajes down here, who's been perfectly fine as like $2,400 catcher in St. Louis that like gets you 5 fantasy points every single game if you need it. If you're not like necessarily spending up at catcher.
He's got like a 10-game hit streak right now.
Yeah, and they don't even have. Yeah, dude, he's been good, and they don't even have. I punted him the next game he played because DraftKings is behind on data.
Still behind. Yeah.
He had like a single RBI. He has five. He has had hitting, like you said, like 12 straight
games. First base, we go then. Thoughts here at the top of the position?
You can always play Ohtani. You can always play Freeman. Framber's been bad against lefties, but it's like an 18-inning sample because teams just load up. Why would teams want to play lefties against Framber? He's been dominant against them his whole career. But you can obviously play Shohei, obviously play Freeman. I think the first name I'd legitimately get to, though, is Vladdy. I mean, he has been one of the best hitters in baseball since June 1st, 1,100 OPS, 380 ISO against lefties. Since the All-Star break, 1,500 OPS, 619 ISO, 623 WOBA. I know it's a small sample, but like since the break, Vladdy has been as good as anyone. Home runs in 5 of 7 games. I mean, he has been.
And we talked about it since June. His numbers against lefties have been fantastic. Obviously, start of the year terrible, but a couple of these guys have started to pick it up. So fully on board with you there. Again, I like Pasquantino at 48 as well against Kyle Hendricks. If we're just going some Royals, not a believer in Mackenzie Gore, even though Paul Goldschmidt has not been very good. He is hitting 5th tonight. So if you wanted to get some Cardinals action there, I think we could get it. And then you mentioned the Baltimore thing last night, where everybody goes to Ryan O'Hearn when it's a righty, and you get Mountcastle for far less rostership. Are you still subscribing to that here today?
Like, I prefer O'Hearn, but if you like, he's cheaper, he's in a better lineup position, he has the better split. But like, if you're just trying to be different, then Mountcastle is the play because that's just going to be less around.
I agree. Ben Rice, I would imagine in your play here, 39.
I mean, I understand. I should say yes, but not really. He's been quite bad.
Okay, where else are we going then?
Justin Turner at 33. I think against Heaney hitting second. I like that. I have some interest in Jason Vossler. 2,500, 20 home runs at AAA this year. He's 30. He's not like a prospect, but he's a 30-year-old who hits for power. And this is the side that is going to give Thorpe issues in the long term. So nearly min salary, I'd be interested in a guy hitting sixth, multi-position eligibility.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Second base, we go. Ketel Marte, Jose Altuve up at the top. Marcus Semien leading off against Kikuchi at $5,200. A position where last night we were okay with some of these spots. How are you feeling about it this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I like Ketel Marte. He's been obviously amazing, so I have no problem getting there. Marcus Semien, another guy who's been amazing, and he's hitting lefties really well. Big hit streak going right now. Big on base streak going right now. Definitely interested in Semien. I like Westberg. No one's going to play him. Nobody's going to play. Everyone's going to play Baltimore. No one's going to play Jordan Westberg. He's hitting fifth. He has multi-position eligibility. On FanDuel, he has like 4-position eligibility. So, I mean, hitting fifth, got super unlucky yesterday, like 4 hard hit balls, none of them were hits. So I'm good with Westberg at 48. So I actually like 3 of the 4 top names. And you can always play Altuve. I just don't prefer him today at 54.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mid-tier range, any core targets for you here? I know we've talked up Tyler Fitzgerald. You also like Freeland tonight. Which one's winning over for you?
I'm not going to skip over Michael Massey at $4,100. But lefties have given Kyle Hendricks absolute nightmares. So I would say Massey before I get to Fitzgerald. 546 slug, 2.7 home runs per 9 against left-handed hitters this year for Kyle Hendricks. Almost 3 home runs per 9, not good. So definitely Massey hitting fifth. But yeah, I mean, I think Freeland wins, but I'm not going to obviously sit here and say the guy who has an RBI in 7 straight games and an extra base hit or more in 7 straight games can't get it done. He's hit second against Clayton Kershaw and had a triple and an RBI yesterday. Like, that's not the guy I'm saying can't get it done. I just
can't get into for Kyle Freeland.
You know? I just don't. I just have respect for what Kyle Freeland has done lately, and that's not. I've fully stacked against Freeland in cores against the Giants.
Yeah,
and he shut me up. And just looking at the data, he's been really good. And now it's 50 degrees in July. It's about to be August, and there is a place in the United States that it's 50 degrees next to an ocean, by the way. Like, there's an ocean on the you're in a bed, like, like there, like where you are so yeah, if you want to play Fitzgerald, I'm sure he's going to get ownership at 3,500 because it's like second base is a pretty barren position. I mean, you have like Adam Frazier's leading off with Hendricks sucks against lefties. Adam Frazier's been, I don't know why he's leading off. Just like lead like Kyle Isbell off or something, right? Because he's actually been like just lead Witt, like
lead literally anybody. Yeah.
Polanco's hitting third, and I think lefties against Thorpe are good, but like, all right, Polanco,
would you go Normie? Yeah.
I think Norby makes sense. He's hitting ninth, homered yesterday, off a righty. Major again has been bad against lefties versus righties, but it's an interesting place. I think there's enough value to like get around having to plug Fitzgerald. Like if you were to play Kyle Freeland, but also if you're not playing Kyle Freeland, very easy to just plug Tyler Fitzgerald and move on with the rest of your life.
Agreed. Third base here, Devers, Riley, and Machado. Your top 3. We talked Westberg already. Rengifo, Bregman, Vientos, Arenado. Like, what are your thoughts in the top half here?
Yeah, another position I'm just not in love
For
with. I
12
would say
games, I agree with you. I'm like, it's the matchups aren't jumping off the page here.
I'm a little bit of a fan of Machado. I mentioned the Grayson thing. A lot of fly balls for Grayson Rodriguez, and a lot of fly balls against righties, and struggles against righties. So like Machado back in Baltimore, not really like reading into that narrative, but obviously like very good at baseball when he was in
Is
Baltimore.
this his first return to Baltimore?
No. He's been. I mean, I had assumed
Yeah.
no. I be wrong? Yeah. But I'd assume no. But Machado 49, just with the righty matchup there against Grayson. Westberg, as I mentioned, I'm okay getting to Devers if you want. All of Nestor's road home runs have come against righties though, allowed. So if you're paying 61 for Devers, he needs to go 5 for 5, or he needs to hit you a home run, right? Like
Right.
that's you need, or not 5 for 5, but like you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, he needs to be a productive.
you're paying for the home run
Yeah.
at 6,100.
Right.
I don't love the rest of the position. I would say like Arenado would probably be the next guy I get to. He has been better. He's really cheap over on FanDuel. That would probably be like the next guy I get to. I'm just going down to Ernie, man. He has over a 200 ISO over the last month against left-handed pitching. Hitting sixth, I think, is a very interesting spot.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned Vossler already as well against the left.
Yep, I'm with you there. Shortstop, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, Francisco Lindor. Your top three: Seager, Abrams, and Cruz, rounding out the 5K tier.
Yeah, this is one of those days where I wish it was earlier in the year and Gunnar still had third base eligibility.
Agreed.
Because it's a tough thing. Like, here's what I'd say. I suspect Bobby Witt is like 3x Gunner's ownership, despite Gunner arguably having the best matchup on the board. And I think it's because Gunner's recent struggles that people will go to Witt and they'll be like, let me just play a Baltimore stack, but I'll exclude Gunnar Henderson, right? I'll play Baltimore. I'll play like 3, 4, 6, 8 probably would be the most logical stack, right? Mm-hmm. You're playing Santander, O'Hearn, Hauser, Kerstad. That's probably your stack. But like at the end of the day, no one on that team is as good as Gunnar Henderson and hasn't been against right-handed pitching all year long against a guy who struggles against lefties. I'm going to play a lower on Gunnar today over Bobby Witt, and that's just personal preference. I think they're the two. I thought this like the last couple of slates, they're like 1A and 1B in terms of like priority for me. Obviously, if you're playing multiple lineups, you don't have to worry about it. Just play them one in one and one in another. I'm going to lean Gunnar personally. And I'm also just going to also say, we said it on the show last night, I'm not going to forget about Francisco Lindor because, again, he homered again. Like, he homered again yesterday. And he has been as good as anyone in baseball lately. So I think you can go comfortably to any of the top three names. I prefer Gunnar because I'm playing a Baltimore stack. Obviously, playing Bobby Witt and Francisco Lindor seems like a good idea.
Agreed. Our guy Don wants to know who our one pitcher is today. Obviously, popping in here.
One pitcher. George Kirby, if I'm only pitching.
There you go, Don. George Kirby is the one pitcher for Grande. As we work our way down, I like Mason Wynn and Ceddanne Rafaela. They're both at $4,300. Anybody for you in the mid tier?
No, I don't even like those guys. No offense to either of them. They might be fine. Ceddanne has been really bad against lefties, which is obviously weird. Some just reverse splits guy.
Sure.
Mason Wynn's fine. Mackenzie Gore has obviously been bad. So if you want to play Mason Wynn leading off, I like it. This is just not one of my favorite positions to venture into the depths of not spending up.
No Romy for you today?
No, not necessarily going to get to Romy. I mean, Volpe's been better, but this has obviously been a tougher split against Brian Bayo. If you want to play Fitzgerald here, like that's a value. If you want to play Xavier Edwards hitting second, I think that would be a pivot. He stole his fifth base yesterday, a couple hits, RBI. Like that kid is just super solid. So
yeah, agreed. Outfield we go then. Obviously, plenty of spend ups here. Where are you looking to begin lineup builds?
Well, where I'm looking to begin and spend up are two different things because Lawrence Butler exists in the world. And right there, Don, you are absolutely correct, sir. Lawrence Butler is the best player on the planet. And if I had a vote for MVP, president, all this stuff, I would cast it. Well, I do have one of those. I would cast it for Lawrence Butler. He might be my write-in ballot this year.
I think you said that about Reese Hines about 3 weeks ago, and now he's in AAA. So
yeah, I also but I saw that coming, right? Writing on the wall in our
45% strikeout rate.
I dropped him after his Jeremy Lin run. Like after he Jeremy Lin baseball, I was like, all right, I'm done with this guy. And then
no guy will ever have a hotter 6-game stretch in baseball.
To start your career. No. But Lawrence Butler is where I would like to start. Just as that is the best player in baseball. We did the show last night before that game, John. And then he doubled and homered again.
Yeah.
Again. Like, he makes us look so good every day. So salute to you, Lawrence Butler, for how good you've been. Quite literally the best player in baseball lately. But like spend ups, like Soto would probably be my top outfield option with the Bayo struggles against lefties. And how good Juan Soto's been lately. He has been the best Yankee for the month. So Soto for me would be the top guy. O'Neill is close behind at 5,400. I think I have not gotten away from the RBI thing that you mentioned, and I never would have noticed it. Dude, it has shook me to the core since I saw 20 home runs. That it has to be traumatizing for him. Like
38 RBIs.
Dude, if he hit like he's literally pacing for like 40 home runs and 70.
Yeah, I think Prince Fielder once had a season like that. He had, where was it? 32 homers, 83 RBI for Prince Fielder.
That is.
But even O'Neill is pacing for lower RBIs than that. So.
That's not even. Tyler O'Neill's pacing for 40 bombs and 68 RBIs, dude. Or 78 RBIs. I mean, like, what world is Boston living in that they're not getting people on for this guy?
Just can't get anybody on in front of it.
Dude. But, like, it's funny. You look at Devers, 63 ribbies, 23 home runs. Like, bro.
Oh, yeah, he hits behind Devers. So,
I know. That's the unfortunate part.
The 162 average on Baseball Reference for Tyler O'Neill. You ready for it?
Yeah.
44 homers, 84 RBI.
The rest of the Red Sox should be thrown in jail. Throw them all in jail for doing this man so dirty. Anyways,
Don wants to play Santander. I know we're all in there.
Yeah, he's the cover my playbook today.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy. I mean, truthfully, like, I wrote up 4 Orioles.
Yeah, noted switch hitter Santander against. Manager here.
Noted switch hitters in the league. Marte, Anthony Santander.
Obviously noted switch hitters.
But I mean, Santander has over 1,000 OPS over the last month against righties. He has been their best hitter overall over that span. So yeah, I think my top over 5K guys: Soto, O'Neill, Santander, and then Brent Rooker. Probably
I mean, dude, Brent Rooker, that guy homered too, didn't he yesterday? Like,
yeah. I mean, they're all homering, dude.
Where is Oakland? What's Oakland doing? Like they're just.
Dude, no wonder we were wondering why Astoria Ruiz wasn't playing, and I know there's an injury involved now, but like, hey, they knew. We know nothing. I mean, go Oakland is.
I mean, is They're wild, man. And next year they're supposed to be playing in a ballpark that's like a little league field. I mean,
with a lot of fans able to attend. By the way.
2,000 fans allowed to go.
A lot of fans going to be there.
Anyway, it's good news for Vegas, I guess. So this team continues to go the way they're going. Under 5K plays. Who are some of the targets for you here?
So I think this is not like a very appealing tier overall for me. Truthfully, like I think George Springer makes a lot of sense if you're playing that top half of the Blue Jays lineup. Brett Doyle just rules. So O'Doyle rules there, 4,500. I know he's not good on the road, but I mean, he's just been good. He's hitting second too. I think that's definitely a good wrinkle. He's been hitting second or third lately. I don't really love the rest of the tier. Like Rob Refsnyder hitting second. He's hit lefties well this year. That has not been the case of late. So it's not like a great tier. When you have like all of these Oakland guys 4K and below, and all these Baltimore guys 4K and below, it just doesn't like the 4K tier is just not one that like. Look, I get it. Outfield is a position you can definitely spend up on if you wanted to get like Santander, O'Neill, or Soto, like two of those guys, because you're playing Lawrence Butler and he's occupying one of them.
If you're playing Glady, like you could play Springer with him as a 2,
right?
And Ernie Clement mixes the 3, and you're there.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just like you look at Oakland and the lineup that they're going to throw out there, where Andrew Har is going to hit second, and you're probably going to get Blade hitting third. Both those guys, and Butler first, right? Your top 3 are 4,000, 39, 38. That's your top 3, and then you get Baltimore.
Yeah. Cowser.
I don't this is it's a little confusing to me why they're doing this with Cowser, how good he's been. They're hitting him at 8th tonight.
Yeah.
I think there's leverage to play Kjerstad over Cowser, because Cowser's obviously been better lately, right? Like Cowser in people's minds are like, yeah, let me play Colton Cowser. He's been like notably better. Homered yesterday. I think Kjerstad is the pivot off Cowser. I think Kjerstad hitting better in the lineup. He's 6th overall, and Cowser's hitting 8th. And for over the last month, Heston Kjerstad has 1,000 OPS against right-handed pitching. I know there's obviously been an IL stint in the middle of that, but Kjerstad's actually been a little better than Cowser. So I'm good with playing both. I am playing both, but if I were to pick between Baltimore outfielders, I think I would actually lean Kjerstad today over the higher owned Cowser.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's where I would probably go to as well. Any downright values for you here today?
Yeah. I mean, Jeff McNeil, salute to you, sir. You continue to be really good. Game winner yesterday, 3,200, second base, outfield eligible. Robbie Grossman, 31, is hitting third if you did want to go there.
You got Verdugo leading off. Do you make
the Verdugo leading off thing is interesting because he's been Faisal, buddy. Salute to you, sir.
We can't wait for the NBA streams to come back as well.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll just do an Olympics one. Maybe if the USA goes, no, okay. I'm a little bit interested in Kyle Isbell. I wrote him up today in the playbook. And it's downright. He's been really, really good against right-handed pitching. 564 slug, 942 OPS, 282 ISO against righties in the last month. Kyle Hendricks, 2.7 home runs per 9 innings to lefties. 390 WOBA, 546 slug. Kansas City's problem is just like the lack of lefties they have.
Yeah.
But Isbell has not been a problem for them. He has been one of their best hitters against right-handed pitching this year. So I think playing some Isbell, playing some KC lefties plus Witt is a profitable approach.
I agree with you. All right, so we're gonna build a lineup. We got Butler, Santander. Did you want to do Kjerstad?
Yep.
And then we'll do Gunnar.
Yes.
Catcher.
I'd rather gouge my eyes out and just pick someone blindly. Just punt.
I mean, he's been good. We say punt, and yet he's giving you 5 fantasy points.
No, for sure. I mean, it's still a punt because he's 2,400, but like he has legit been good.
Play Freeland in for you?
Kirby. We'll play Kirby. I don't know if we're going to need to with the punt catcher. Vladdy, probably at first. Yeah, like we're.
If we do Ernie here, we might be able to get
Semien.
62, dude. We can get Marte.
Yeah, I almost call him Starling. Shout out to Starling Marte.
Yeah, $700 left over. I mean, we could get. I mean, that doesn't really get us a catcher, but
that really gets us nowhere other than not playing. And
gets you Suarez over.
I mean, the power's been obviously legit for Eugenio. Ortiz, you talked about it though, like not a guy who's allowing any.
Not allowing any contact. That's why the numbers are what they are there. So, $700 left over. Langoliers.
Yeah, I mean Langoliers is a big power bet.
We don't get the money for Langoliers though. But
no, we don't.
42. So so we can leave somebody on the table. We got $700. If you guys want to play around with the example lineup, you certainly can. As I worked on my way down to the Pajes. Again, Freeland, Kirby, Pajes, Guerrero, Marte, Clement, Henderson, Butler, Santander, and Kirkstad going with a little Baltimore stack here for today. Got some Toronto bats in the lineup. Got an Oakland bat in the lineup there. So example lineup for all of you. If you have any questions, you know where to find us in the Discord and on Twitter. If you haven't already become a member of the Fantasy Alarm family, as I always say, now is the time to do it. FantasyAlarm.com/win, promo code Let's Go. First month for less than $20. That will include your fantasy football draft guide and cheat sheet as well. Howard Bender just sent over an updated cheat sheet grid, so I'll be updating that and sending it live shortly. So make sure you get your draft guide and cheat sheet as part of the Fantasy Alarm All Pro package there. FantasyAlarm.com/win, promo code Let's Go. Grande and I will be back for Monday's slate. Till then, everybody, good luck.